I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
This is great for, what would you rather be canceled for? Sucking at your job, or the mean president took your job away? So for them, he's getting to come back. So you gotta.
What you're about to see feels like something that should never have aired. Tyrus didn't just roast Jimmy Kimmel, he turned him into a live TV warning. 1 second, Jimmy was firing off jokes like always. The next, he looked frozen under the studio lights. Like every career move was flashing through his mind. The moment flipped instantly. Did Tyrus go too far? Or did Jimmy walk straight into it? And why did the crowd erupt the way it did? This takedown was so extreme it stopped feeling like comedy and started looking like a real-time lesson in on-air collapse.
They all get together, they compare notes, and they tell each other, yeah, you should never mention his name again. You should never mention his name again. You should never. Does he call you? Doesn't call me? He texted me last week. Oh, so I'm still in the game. That's all this was. That's just, and that's why nobody cared. Nobody cares about the ex-wife's club.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit around, be funny, or they're setting up for when they're all canceled, their tour.
Tyrus stormed into the comedy moment like someone who skipped the warm-up and jumped straight into controlled chaos. In seconds, the mood snapped, from easy late-night banter to full on-air turbulence, leaving the crowd unsure whether to laugh, gasp, or brace themselves. No careers were crushed, but a few egos clearly scrambled for cover.
If there ever was one. But it's not about me right now. But
right.
The point is, like, of course he's not going to change because he doesn't have a reason to change. His whole thing was the best thing for him was to stay gone because he would have been able to say for the rest of his days that the evil Trump MAGA got me. And then all his pundits would come out and say, free speech is being taken away. And now, like, nope, here's.
Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe because missing this moment would feel like skipping a plot twist that everyone else is talking about. Jimmy Kimmel stepped onto the set wrapped in his usual confidence, unaware that a comedic storm was seconds from tearing through his comfort zone. He barely had time to settle in before the jokes started flying across the stage like rapid-fire shots in a full showdown. No real damage was done, but the wipeout was so dramatic it felt like even the cameras pulled back to avoid the impact.
Three-man show.
Yes.
Come watch us say how much we hate the president.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to talk about. Kimmel was given each one of them was given a reset except for Seth. I didn't even know he was still on the air.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. Everyone's watching Forensic Files.
Yes.
No one's watching.
Viewers watched it unfold with the same gut drop panic people feel when their phone hits concrete face first, afraid to look, yet unable to turn away. No one even blinked, because blinking meant missing the next volley of comedic fire Tyrus had locked in with precision. Every line landed like a masterclass in sarcasm, while Jimmy stood exposed, unguarded, and clearly not built for that level of emotional impact.
You, Tyrus, where do you land on this thorny issue?
Like most times I land on thorns, they get smashed. I don't care because I don't think it has anything to do with free speech. You have a job, just like I have a job. And if I go too far at work, I get fired. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on TV.
Yeah.
If I'm stacking cans at Walmart and I decide that I want to tell everyone who comes down they need to be conservative or they can't have.
What unfolded on that stage felt like a masterclass in precision, roasting disguised as harmless entertainment. With every jab landing so cleanly, it might as well have been guided by satellite tracking. Not a single joke missed, and the audience became front row witnesses to a spectacular unraveling wrapped in nonstop laughter. After the first avalanche hit, it was clear this wasn't random. This was deliberate chaos, crafted with a surgeon's focus and the confidence of someone who had circled the day as end someone's routine. Every time Jimmy tried to regain his footing, another wave of sarcasm was already lining up backstage, ready for round two with fresh momentum. The crowd turned into unofficial referees, unsure whether to clap, shout, or brace themselves against the emotional debris flying across the set. Jimmy shifted his posture like someone who suddenly realized he'd stepped back into a fight he wasn't ready for. And while he wasn't touched physically, mentally, he looked like a man silently asking for a full system reset.
It's hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard not to punch down sometimes. It is.
Yeah.
People say and you just want to go get them, but you would be like, I'm so busy winning.
Yeah.
Sometimes ignoring is the best diss Ever. You don't matter. But yeah, Europe is, I used to go to Europe all the time. I will not go for anything now because I know they'll be like, because they watch over.
The camera drifted across faces locked in secondhand embarrassment, so intense it felt like its own medical condition, and every reaction made the moment feel even more unreal. Tyrus kept escalating the humor like a gamer, unlocking hidden abilities without asking permission, turning each joke louder, sharper, and more chaotic. What started as standard late-night roasting quickly morphed into a myth-level survival test, where Jimmy's attempts at a comeback felt less like banter and more like footage from a documentary on staying upright under pressure. The energy shifted fast, from playful teasing to something that felt historic, the kind of moment everyone instinctively knew would be retold for years. The lights stayed bright, but Jimmy's momentum didn't, as Tyrus refused to let up, because easing up would have meant mercy, and mercy never showed. Jabs about Jimmy's habits, reputation, on-air conduct, and media persona stacked into a perfect storm, each line building on the last until it felt like watching an unstoppable force collide with someone completely unprepared.
What are they gonna do when he's gone?
Yeah.
They won't still be on TV, but are they still gonna be doing, are they gonna be with Rosie O'Donnell in a 4-way Zoom podcast about Trump ruining their life still?
I'm glad you didn't stop at 4-way. Although in my head I can see it.
Oh, come on, man. My mouth was open. Oh.
Heather, what do you make? You have the business angle on everything. So what's?
Well, for this, that you didn't play the part when Kimmel was on. Well, you played the part Kimmel was on Colbert. When Colbert went on Kimmel, he said, "Welcome to the Emmy award-winning late-night talk show host nominated, limited time only because of Trump administration." No, that's how he was introduced. It's not because of Trump administration that you're going to be.
The audience wasn't cheering. They were watching history with the wide-eyed thrill of kids staring up at fireworks overhead. Off to the side, Jimmy tried to gather whatever confidence remained, reaching for charm as his composure quietly slipped away. At home, viewers likely clutched their remotes like life preservers during a full-scale embarrassment shipwreck, unsure whether to laugh or gasp. Chat rooms and social feeds ignited instantly, flooding the internet with reactions driven by shock and disbelief. Some celebrated, others sat stunned, but everyone kept replaying the chaos, because every attempted deflection only made the roast hit harder, handing Tyrus even more momentum. The moment spiraled into a loop where comedy fed itself until the entire studio hummed with energy that felt destined for legend. Plenty of people chase viral moments, but few imagine it unfolding like this, in a storm of laughter, sarcasm, and confidence so intense it felt like it rattled the walls. Late night shows thrive on banter, but this wasn't ordinary banter. This was a theatrical showdown powered by relentless humor, ending only because the clock forced it to stop as viewers escaped rather than simply switching off.
So this has nothing to do with free speech. You have a job. It's happened here. If a stand-up comedian does a joke that's too raunchy, and they're like, "Whoa, you're done," or goes too far on a TV. He went too far, and it's not like they haven't been giving them hints. They told The View, "Hey, maybe chill out." They told all these networks, "Hey, enough, maybe chill out." And they have had their way, and they had the government and the mainstream media backing them. Every time they said something, they were a martyr, and there was no
Replays instantly became must-watch material because no one cared about the original topic anymore. Everyone just wanted to relive the shock again and again. Clips turned into GIFs, memes multiplied, and the internet locked in like it had found a shared obsession. Pure comedic collapse. Tyrus's delivery became entertainment on its own, while Jimmy's reactions evolved into meme templates clearly built to survive multiple social cycles. Critics swarmed faster than pigeons on a dropped sandwich, dissecting every second like it belonged in an academic journal. Some called it calculated television, others labeled it raw creative chaos, but everyone agreed on one thing: it was unforgettable. Tyrus didn't leave the set so much as glide away, like someone who had just checked off a major milestone in comedy history, while Jimmy stayed upright but looked like he needed a full reset to recover. He held onto a professional smile, acting as if the storm had passed, even though viewers could still feel the comedic smoke hanging in the air. And when Tyrus later spoke with calm, everyday energy, the contrast only made the moment more legendary, like he'd just returned from errands instead of delivering a full on-air demolition.
One clown went all in on ignoring reality and blames MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So MAGA is desperately trying to portray Kirk's killer as not one of them. If that man was any more full of he'd be a colostomy bag.
Even people who had never watched the show rushed to find the replay because no one wanted to be the only one left out of a cultural earthquake that had just hit. Strangers broke it down for other strangers with dramatic hand gestures and over-the-top reenactments, turning simple storytelling into full performances. No one described it calmly. Everyone spoke like they were narrating a wildlife documentary about two dominant forces colliding in the wild. The moment outgrew television and became social currency, inspiring unofficial merchandise within hours that captured the chaos without needing Jimmy's approval. The internet treated it like a national event, dissecting and celebrating it as if it were breaking news. Once the dust settled, both men returned to their careers, but the memory no longer belonged to them. It belonged to the public, locked into the archive of unforgettable comedy. Tyrus gained near-legend status among fans who thrive on unfiltered humor, while Jimmy recovered quietly with the resilience that comes from surviving unexpected on-air drama. The world loves a comeback, and Jimmy eventually built one, but that night became his unofficial character development episode, the moment that permanently shifted how audiences saw him.
We're seeing the adults back in the room at network television and everything else, just like, again, Washington Post firing an angry black woman talking about white people. Never would have happened. They wouldn't even dared it. And they were like, nope, you're out, because we're getting back to a mutual respect. Being on TV is a gift. This isn't a job you have to have. This is a job you get to have. And if you are not in line with the people who make the decisions, ABC probably is about to lose, $6 million in a week over advertising and everything else. They made a choice going this.
The roast became iconic not because it crossed a line, but because it was sharp, exaggerated, and delivered with enough theatrical awareness to turn comedy into pure performance. Jimmy wasn't harmed. He simply experienced what happens when someone turns your entire public persona into material for a moment everyone remembers. Being the punchline is never easy, but sometimes the punchline becomes part of entertainment history, and that's exactly what happened here. Viewers still replay the footage, not out of spite, but out of fascination, drawn to how unpredictable live television can be, and how fast momentum shifts when humor is handled with precision. Even the industry quietly acknowledged the moment, aware of its impact without wanting to spotlight it too loudly. No one knows if there will ever be a rematch, but if it happens, therapists and snack stands alike would see record business. Late night television will always remember the night Tyrus unleashed a comedic eruption that felt destined for the archives. And the moment didn't end with routine applause. It closed in stunned silence, roaring laughter, and the shared realization that live entertainment can turn into a battlefield no one is fully prepared to navigate.
That was 2 days ago, so Kimmel had the chance to walk it back, but he can't. And why is that? Because to admit he was wrong on this calls into question his entire filter for interpreting reality. So it's better to live in denial, knowing the like-minded media won't press you on it. But we will. Hey, Disney shareholders, it may be time to thaw out Walt to put things right. No wonder your 5-year stock price looks like this. Bambi's mom has a...
And even as the world rushed onto new memes, fresh dramas, and the next wave of televised chaos, that moment stayed locked in pop culture memory like a snapshot no one could erase. The perfectly timed jokes, the steadily unraveling composure, and the stunned crowd created a sequence so exact it almost felt choreographed. Roasts rarely become historical reference points, but this one did, proving that humor can still shake the ground beneath even the most seasoned hosts. That night, Tyrus didn't just outshine Jimmy Kimmel. He quietly rewrote the rulebook for late night roasting, using nothing but confidence and timing. Producers whispered in hallways, comedians revisited their material, and PR teams rushed into emergency meetings thick with panic, all chasing one goal, never becoming the next target. Some performers suddenly treated sarcasm like an extreme sport requiring protective gear, while others drilled comebacks with Olympic-level focus, rehearsing like fighters in front of mirrors. Late night writing rooms ran on extra caffeine, determined not to be blindsided by another comedic supernova. No one said it out loud, but the same warning echoed everywhere. Roast responsibility matters.
This is not good. So he has all free speech. Get a podcast like everybody else.
Yeah.
Stand outside of your house and preach your do your stand-up. See if anyone in the neighborhood stops by.
All right.
Those who usually argued non-stop over favorite hosts and segments suddenly set rivalries aside, united by a shared appreciation of pure chaos, because everyone knew they had witnessed something unforgettable. Wow, anyone who saw the broadcast instantly became a historian, replaying each moment like scholars studying battlefield formations, refusing to let it fade quietly into television history. Comment sections flooded with dramatic reenactments and captions bold enough to shake algorithms, and whenever someone tried to downplay the moment, the internet corrected them instantly with undeniable proof. The event became both entertainment and study material, reinforcing the idea that the internet thrives on organized chaos above all else. Meanwhile, clips of Jimmy's reaction spread across every platform like celebratory confetti, with viewers freezing frames at the exact second his composure vanished, as if competing in a brand new sport. Influencers built entire videos around slow-motion breakdowns of his expressions, posture, and that unforgettable smile that silently signaled pure determination. Audiences soaked in every frame with cinematic excitement, savoring the drama as if a blockbuster were unfolding in real time.
So last night, Jimmy Kimmel returned to his show and gave a self-pitying, tearful non-apology. But I gotta say, it's nice to see someone crying at Kimmel's show besides the audience. Kimmel failed to correct his lie that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a MAGA supporter, but he cited Jesus as inspiration for forgiveness. True, Jesus forgave his executioners, but Jesus also cast demons into...
Tyrus's response to the viral explosion didn't involve commentary or extra theatrics. His silence did the work, amplifying the moment and giving the roast a mysterious edge that felt almost unreal. Fans couldn't decide whether to respect the restraint or quietly worry that a sequel could drop at any moment without warning, prompting comedians everywhere to mentally add, "Don't provoke unnecessarily" to their personal rule books. Executives may love unforgettable television, but they also depend on control, and control was completely absent during this meltdown, which only made the ratings surge feel even sweeter. Entertainment analysts rushed in with debates, some arguing audiences crave raw, unscripted heat because safe humor feels hollow, while others focused on the psychological toughness it takes to survive a roast without folding on live TV. But no matter the angle, everyone agreed on one truth: no one walks away from a moment like this unchanged. Whether delivering the blow or absorbing it, each person leaves with new experience points, like characters leveling up after surviving a massive on-screen quest.
Why did it take so long? Because, you know, I'd crushed them like bugs, David. I'd crushed them and I'd thrown them into the wind, and they were still here. I call it entertainment welfare. The only reason why they were around for so long, despite the fact that their numbers were dropping, was the fact that they kind of like towed the line. So I guess when I heard that they were gone, it really didn't surprise me because the numbers were saying it. I don't think it was political. I didn't know anybody, and I'm counting by many liberal friends who watched them. And I think it's because it wasn't entertainment anymore. It was more like a...
Jimmy eventually returned to his show with the determination of a sitcom character refusing to be written out, rebuilding confidence one deliberate moment at a time. Every camera angle, every subtle smirk, every segment carried quiet defiance. The look of someone climbing back after a storm, while millions watched with curiosity and a hint of respect. Viewers weren't feeling sorry for him. They were studying the comeback, quietly wondering if another comedic earthquake might strike someday. Meanwhile, Tyrus moved on with the calm confidence of someone who finished a chaotic assignment early and went home like it was just another night. No bragging, no victory lap, just the ease of someone who accidentally punched a hole in pop culture and kept walking. Writers began using the moment as a benchmark, hosts treated it like cautionary folklore, and fans saw it as a new gold standard for impact. It wasn't just a roast, it became part of comedic infrastructure, something shows now acknowledge silently, like a known fault line everyone remembers but rarely names.
Which, as you know, for Jimmy, is still possible. So should we forgive him for the first time he lied or the second? Jesus performed a lot of miracles, but I don't think he'll be bringing Kimmel's show back from the dead. Kimmel portrayed himself as a victim, so maybe next time he does blackface, instead of Karl Malone, he should just go as Jussie Smollett.
Time didn't dull the memory of that night. If anything, it sharpened it, making it shine brighter and pull in new viewers daily who reacted like it had happened hours earlier. Comment sections kept recycling the excitement with fresh energy, proving that great humor doesn't fade when the delivery hits with timeless precision. Generations revisit iconic media moments, and thanks to digital archives and endless curiosity, this roast secured its place among television's most replayed chaos. Somewhere in late night history, that moment sits like a legendary plaque bolted to the wall, glowing louder every time someone hits replay. Comedy will keep evolving, hosts will keep chasing relevance, and audiences will always crave surprise. But every so often, someone mentions that roast, the one that broke the usual limits and became almost mythic. And when they do, the room pauses for a beat because everyone knows exactly which night they mean. The night Tyrus turned a routine segment into an unforgettable avalanche that rewrote the rules and etched itself into entertainment history.